Can. All right. Wonderful. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the time to dump a load. I appreciate that. This meeting was going to be very pressing, if
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Start giving really short answers. Nope, it was
Yeah,
good.
like really. Yeah, that's yeah, that's good. I got to make a phone call.
Oh man. Yeah. Sorry about my schedule before. Also, I was going to California, then I had like checkout times. I was like, I'll do it in the morning
No,
and the
man,
time sheet.
don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. I'm sorry. When I saw the invitation and I saw it that it was 11 to whenever Pacific time, so I just assumed it was 1 o'clock. I didn't realize it was still 11, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, and that was partially my fault also. I'm tweaking the
You
Zoom thing and
dick.
you dick, how dare you? um, yeah, so I don't know. It's I'm trying to keep up with the times, but they're faster than I.
Hey, man, we all get outpaced from time to time. Key is to keep running. Eat a banana.
Yeah.
You need the potassium so your calves don't lock up.
Oh, well said, my friend. Um, we can get started if you're ready, man.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect, so let's do it.
Let's jump right in. Just want to, I guess, let's start with just introduce yourself and tell us what you do for a living.
My name is Jeremy Schwartz, and I'm an actor.
Beautiful. And quite a impressive line of work, I must say. I've been combing through your resume a little bit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. You don't only just act, you do voice acting.
Yeah,
Looks like you've got a little band experience as well.
yeah.
And even go as far as to dabble in some Shakespearean acting.
Very little, but from time to time, yes, but not on a grand scale. Shakespeare Dallas, I'm based in Dallas, and Shakespeare Dallas did this series that took them years to do, but they went through every single Shakespeare play and did staged readings of them. So I did a couple of those. There's a cool thing here called Shakespeare in the Bar, which is a very loose outdoor, like on a patio kind of thing. If you fuck up a line, everybody drinks.
Great.
You can
That's
play
awesome.
with the audience. It's probably honestly closer to what really going to hear a Shakespeare play was like. Raucous, you were close to the audience and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've done very little, but what I have done was a lot of fun. So
Cool, man.
I'd like to do more.
Yeah.
I'd make a fine nurse in Romeo and Juliet, I think.
Do you mind if I try my hand at to be or not to be? That
Fantastic.
whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles by opposing in them, to die, to sleep no more. That's all I got.
Boothian. Downright Edwin Boothian. You're hired.
Yes.
I'll have my boys send over the paperwork.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's like the only line that seems to stick, the most famous one that everybody's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple favorites. Yes, I have gained my experience. Is one that I like a lot. Yeah, what are some others? Oh, a bunch of the Falstaff stuff, and just a good sheriff's sack hath the twofold operation in it. That's a great monologue, and yeah, there's a bunch of good ones out there.
Yeah, man.
Ain't no stinkers.
There ain't no stinkers in the
Ain't no
bunch.
stinkers with Shakespeare.
Oh man, I can tell this is going to be a real, I don't know, a real knee slapper because I am just now getting into the voice acting uh, world. I've yet to.
World, yeah.
So difficult to break into. Um,
It's an
but
odd universe. It is one of the toughest. It's the thing that everybody thinks they can do, and thereby it is the toughest thing to break into because a lot of people don't understand. a lot of people have never heard their own voice through headphones and a microphone. So they're terrified and horrified when they hear it for the first time, because in your head, you sound differently than you do to other people. And until you get used to reconciling how you actually sound, uh, so whenever I like train people, whatever, I make them go into the booth just for like 15 minutes by themselves and just talk into the mic and get used to talking into the mic and what that sounds like, and everything like that. But once you crack the nut, it's like you need to know, you got to have a friend. Nepotism is part of it. Someone gets you in, opens the door and gets you in the room. It's your job to stay in the room, you know,
Right. Yeah.
and then move on to the next room and stuff like that, and polish up your craft and all that kind of stuff. But you sound like you have a pretty good jump on it, like a natural kind of ability, and that helps a lot. Plus you understand how to work on a microphone, and that's
Oh, it's a huge life
50%
lesson.
of it.
Yeah, I go to like, well, post COVID, would go to like poetry readings, or where people may be open mics, maybe in front of the microphone for the first
Right.
time, and they're messing with it and talking way back here from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
room, and it's like, man, just get your chin close to this. I know what kind of microphone that is. And if you had a little bit of like coaching, I know that I can barely hear this poem, but I know it's dynamo. But if you just got closer, you would crush it. Like you would really own the room.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a skill. It's a skill that I think should be taught in schools.
I mean,
But
it's the difference. Like, I'm standing off the mic right now just so I can be seen, but if I lean into the mic, then it's a much different sound, that
right.
comes out. It's a much cleaner, you get the depth, you get the gravel, you get all of that. I stand back, it's more conversational, and it's, that kind of thing. So it's just learning your hardware. And that's not a euphemism either for playing with yourself. It's actually, I didn't know it was going to be that kind of show. I
Well,
should have called my therapist before we did this. What shouldn't I say?
you'll need one before and after. So
What
you're
should I give up but not give up? Oh God, I'm gonna have to write letters after this. We're doing that. This is going on right now, isn't it? We're doing the interview. This is the
yes.
interview. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I was
Surprisingly
like,
enough.
I can't wait for this thing to start. Wait a second.
We're gonna get along great. Like we're almost done. No, I'm just kidding. You hear like wrap up music. People always laugh whenever I say like I want to be a cartoon character, but what they don't really know is I'm pretty serious. And I saw that you landed a spot as the voice of Lord of Slug from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah.
How is that? How do you? And is that considered? I think it's called looping. Whenever it's like Japanimation. In
Um,
my on the right
dubbing
track.
is dubbing is what they call it. Like when you do
Dubbing.
anime, and
Yeah.
you have to match the flaps. So the writers and the directors get the translations, and then they take the translations, and they have to watch all the footage, and then they have to try and make the lines their own sort of interpretation of it to put their mark on it. But at the same time, it also has to be something where it matches the mouth flaps. So when you're recording that, you're talking into the microphone and you're looking at a monitor that has your lines, and then you're looking at a monitor that has the thing going on. And I stopped trying to watch all three. I just kind of listen for the timing of the Japanese guy, and then
Yeah.
we'll do that. But I haven't done any anime in God forever. It's been like a long time pre-COVID. They just stopped calling me from Funimation for whatever reason. But like with the games with Dragon Ball and stuff like that, um, and the movie, like the One Piece movie, Film Z, and oh God, what's the name of it? It made millions and millions of dollars in 3 days. It was Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. and
Ah,
I played Sorbet in that, and so matching that character was pretty easy. Those Dragon Ball things are fun to do. And like the Borderlands stuff and work the video game stuff is a lot of fun to do because you rarely have something that you have to match.
yeah.
They kind of tend to animate around your dialogue, which is really great and easy. Same thing with like Moonshiners, a show that I narrate for Discovery Channel. You know, I never see that. I never see the footage. They cut the show around my pacing and my uh stuff, which is
Oh, that's
really
nice.
flattering. And really, we're 10 seasons in. They trust me at this point. I think it's the longest running show on Discovery Channel, which is
Nice, man.
crazy. I don't know if they're so thrilled about it because it is about a bunch of, you know, hillbillies making liquor in the woods, which quite honestly is like an artisanal cheesemaker or someone who makes fabulous homemade breads. I mean, it's an art form.
Yeah.
If you do it wrong, you'll die. Like it'll
Yeah.
kill you. So, you know, you got to make sure you know what you're doing. And these guys know what they're doing, despite the fact that they wear overalls with no shirts and all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Don't judge a book by its cover.
That's right.
Judge it
That's
by
right.
judge it by the strength of its liquor.
That's how I usually gauge things. It's so
That's my standard for everything, from hiring plumbers to CPAs to taking tests.
yeah. This maybe and I'm kind of digressing here, but I wanted to ask if you ever heard of the Preston Blair book of advanced animation, something that I just learned about. I think maybe more so for animators, but it'll show you how to draw a character, a cartoon character, like if he's
Uh-huh.
pronouncing an A, his teeth
Oh,
should be
right.
showing, or an I, and so on and so forth. But I didn't know if that was something that voice actors.
No, voice actors don't really have to deal with that. That's more for animators and stuff like that, learning how to draw those. And that's a really cool book to have because it sounds like it's. Let me move more in front of the camera here. I feel like I'm talking to you. Hey, kid, you want to buy a watch? Yeah. Uh, what the hell was I saying? I just digressed. Oh
That's
Lord.
okay, man. That's okay.
Oh, the
I was
book sounds really cool because the book is like analog for people who still draw by, you know, pencil or pen and paper, as
yeah,
opposed to computer animation where everything is, you know, you already have programs that have mouth sounds and you capture people's faces and all of that kind of stuff. So, but that sounds like a cool book.
yeah. I thought about like, oh, do I need this, or I'm not really going to animate anything. I don't know. I wonder
Well,
if
read the book. You might be. You never know. That's why it's there.
yeah, hey, that cartoon character's his teeth aren't showing. I've got a something with a lot of A's and I's in it. His teeth need to be.
I'm writing my network representative.
Then I never get hired again. Um, what was the first time you made like real money? I mean, like money where you're like, I think I can be a thespian, or like I think I can get rid of my day job if you
Um,
have the time.
well, okay, I can tell you exactly when I quit my day job.
Okay.
I was doing what came first, the chicken or the egg? I got cast in Christmas Carol at Dallas Theater Center. Um, and it was rehearsals were 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was a great weekly rate. It was more than I was making waiting tables, that was for sure. And it was a professional show. It was my first like real. I had worked at other theaters around town and they were professional theaters, but I was non-equity, and this was back in the early 90s. And so you would get a stipend for doing the show, but these were still very reputable theaters. But when I got to quit my job was when I got cast in Christmas Carol. And then from that point on, there was an agent in the audience who loved my voice and talked to me after the show and asked me if I did voiceover. And I said I did one when I was a junior in high school, but I've always wanted to be, I've just been waiting for someone to invite me to the party, basically.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I'm inviting you to the party. And
Here it
so
is.
I started to book stuff off of that voiceover stuff, a lot of on camera commercial stuff at the time. Um, where are you from? Where do you live?
I grew up in Dallas.
Okay, so you know
And
Whataburger. So I was the
yeah,
voice of Whataburger for a long time. Like that was a really good steady gig. Pep Boys, I was Manny, and Manny Moe and Jack, I was Manny
yeah,
for a few years. And so I took, at the time, the ceiling in Dallas was very, very low. It was like Walker, Texas Ranger was the top of what you could do
yeah.
television wise. And then there were a lot of commercials and a lot of voiceover stuff. And I did a ton of that. And I just reached a certain point where I was like, I have to go to New York. Like I have to get out of here because I want to do this as a career. And it's just not going to happen here at this particular time. So I moved to New York in 99. I sent my demo to the agencies that I had heard of. That's such a young kind of naive thing to do, but that's just what I did. Like Buckwald, ICM, um, oh God, I can't remember of any of them now. But anyway, so I ended up signing with ICM and I booked my first job. And my first job was playing a 70-year-old man with arthritis on a Tylenol radio commercial.
Yeah.
So I'm in a room with like 4 actual geriatrics, and then I come in and they're like, who are you supposed to be? And I'm like, Abe. I'm reading Abe, the one with the the stuff that you have. No, I didn't say that. That would
Yeah.
have, but I
Yoda.
thought it.
Yeah.
Um, and then it just kind of it bloomed from there, and I ended up booking a bunch of this was back in the good old days, like pre 9/11 is really when it started to take off, and then it took a little while after 9/11 to pick back up, but once it did, like in 2003, I started doing most of the voiceover promo work for Comedy Central, and I did that until 2009. I was the voice of Monday Night Football and all the NFL stuff on ESPN for in that same time span. I had a lot of commercial campaigns. I did a Super Bowl ad for FedEx that was a takeoff on Castaway, where I played the Tom Hanks character.
I
And
remember that commercial.
there's a
Yeah.
great button joke at the end, and it's a shame that because it's so dated at this point that they couldn't run it again. People would be like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is a thing.
Yeah. What's
So
Castaway? It
but it
still holds
was
up.
well, the thing is it's like constantly ranked as like one of the funniest Super Bowl commercials of all time. And they used to run those shows before the Super Bowl. Remember, it was like, here's the 30 greatest Super Bowl ads of all time. And
Yeah.
mine never shows up on it. And it only ran once. It only ran during the game. That was the only time it ran. And the reason I think that they don't want to do it is because between the dreadlocks and the makeup and the tanning, I had to fake tan and all of this shit. It was like 2 weeks. And so my session fee for this thing was outrageous. And they would have to pay me the entire thing again if they were going to run that ad on that show. And they're not going to drop, several zeros on one outing. But at the ad agency, it was so funny because I went to the ad agency. I forgot who it was. And I walked into the lobby and there was a giant billboard size picture of me in the like, this is our pet project. This is where we're putting all our marbles, is in this one. Yeah, hilarious. The dude who wrote it asked me if I could find Quaaludes because we No, he did not really. He had Quaaludes. We were in Florida after all.
He asked if you wanted.
Florida and South Africa are the two last places you can get them, and there's one ticket that's cheaper. So,
That's
by the
right.
way, this jenkem is delicious.
Clean living, baby. Oh God, that's good. Have you ever done any improv? I'm curious. I got into improv and I thought it was just an amazing life skill that I feel like improv and working in the service industry and I guess talking into a microphone are like three life skills that should be
Yeah,
taught just because it really like gets you comfortable with getting out there and
yeah.
performing with no expectations. And I'm just curious if you've ever delved into the improv world.
I did improv when I was in my early 20s. I was part of an improv troupe for a little while, and you know, when improv is good, it's really good. And when it's not, it's just fucking awful. It's like the worst thing ever. It's
Is
like, you know how a poet should never necessarily read their own work out
yeah,
loud?
yeah,
Like, leave it in the hands of somebody else. Maybe you wrote a beautiful thing, but
yeah.
maybe you're not the guy to actually convey it.
More of a writer.
So I did a lot of improv, and it was kind of that classic, like we're all wearing the same colored T-shirt and jeans, and you do okay, we're gonna do the improv blues thing, like we're gonna do 8-bar blues, and everybody gets a verse, and give me a non-specific location and a profession and blah blah blah, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it's Nichols and May, and then sometimes it's Bickles and Trey, and those guys are terrible.
Yeah,
Plus, they owe me like $17 still.
yeah, yeah. Don't I know? I trust me. I've asked for money from those
Do you
guys
know?
before.
Do you know Bickles and
No, I
Trey?
don't.
Assholes. I'm telling you, if you find out where they are, you let me know. Look me in the eyes, look me in that camera, and tell me you will let me know.
I'll let you know. I
All
swear.
right.
I
Okay.
swear.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah. Friends again.
Friends
Yeah.
again.
I said the same thing. Like if somebody, oh, cool, I'll come to your show. I'm like, I hope it's good. All right. Like I wouldn't tell
Yeah,
you to do this.
and even the best ones at it, will tell you sometimes we just some and when you do a scripted play, sometimes you have a great night and sometimes you have a mediocre night and sometimes you just have a really shitty night and it's
Yeah,
just
man.
bad. But it is a great skill to acquire because it does get you comfortable in front of people, and it does certainly build, if in a totally practical way, conversation skills. It
Yeah.
always, because it teaches you to jump, to never deny. First of all, right, that's the first rule of improv: never deny. If somebody gives you something, you got to work with it. If they ask you a question, you can't just go no,
Yeah.
because the sketch is over and it's not funny.
Yeah.
So, it's that kind of thing. So I think it's really good in terms of um, getting people to a place where they're comfortable communicating with other people. And then, as far as being a performer is concerned, and someone who really wants to do improv for the actual performance and comedy aspect of it, it sharpens your claws and it makes you smarter. It makes you wittier, especially if you surround yourself with a group of people who think what you think is funny, but also think what they think is funny, which
Right.
then rubs off on you. And then you go and explore something that you might not have gone and looked at before and gone, oh shit, that's really hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've never seen this before. Like I had no
Yeah.
idea that kind of stuff. So I think it's good if you surround yourself with a good ensemble of people. Um, and that can be very beneficial. But if you're in with the wrong kind of people, and if you're just doing softball stuff, like that was my thing with improv, is that it was so slow pitch.
Uh-huh.
and I like the fast-paced stuff that, like, you know, Upright Citizens Brigade does, and Second City, and you know, the Groundlings, and like those guys are, and they're all working, like they're all in front of the camera all the time. Half the
Yeah.
cast of Veep, you know, is either from the Groundlings or UCB, so it's like uh, everybody, where if you're good at it, if you get with the right place and you get the right training, that's important to do too. I think if you're really going to do it, take a class from people who really know how to do it, so that you're not just kind of out there twisting in the wind going, yeah, I think I can, I think we can get the hang of this. This is pretty much the thing. I read Improv for Dummies, not that you've done
Yeah.
that. I'm not implying that,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. So I say it's like anything else. If you're really serious about it, then get the training, and then go as far as the training will take you. And when you feel you've hit the wall, then start to explore, but get the practical skills for whatever it is: improv, acting, voice acting, music, just anything, cheese making. Like I love cheese making. I keep bringing it up. I don't know if you've noticed that. It could be a fetish. It could just be that I like cheese.
Cheese is great. Yeah, there's something wrong with you if you're not a fan of cheese.
Cheese is great. Forgive me, Lord. That might have been blasphemy. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I said you're great.
I said you're
Jesus,
great.
Jesus.
God.
Yeah. Golly. Lay off me, will you? Will you, Messiah?
What
Um,
else do you want to know there, counselor?
oh, is there anybody that inspires you that you're like, oh, I mean, I feel like you're in a place where you're sort of, the champagne bottle has been broken on your ship and you've set sail in the direction you want to go. But is there anybody that still inspires you at this point?
Oh yeah, I have a load of friends. My best friend is Greg Romero Wilson, or the Greg Wilson. He's a very popular comic. He's does a bunch of TV shows. I wish I could remember the name of the show. It's the Will Sasso show on ABC. He plays one of the wife's brothers on that show. He was on Ghosted, which is a shame that didn't get picked up, because that show was great, but it came at such a weird time, so the network just kind of, anyway. So he works harder than anybody that I know. He hustles like crazy. He teaches incredibly popular workshops. He works all over LA, he works Vegas, he tours the country, he does so I have a lot of respect for him. I just admire his work ethic and everything that he does. My other best friend, Jason Cockburn, is an amazing musician, an amazing father, an amazing. He can build things. He's just one of those dudes that's like, you dick. Like, how you can't be good looking and talented. It's not fair. You
Yeah.
can be one or the other, but you can't
Yeah.
be good looking and talented. But as
Right.
far as like uh, big names go, I have, boy, this is a question I wasn't expecting, and I really do want to answer it with.
That's okay. I can give you some time or filibust. I think that it's great that you've got somebody that you look up to within your reach. I look up to Billy West, who was,
Oh
he
yeah,
he
sure. Ren and Stimpy, and yeah,
yeah, Bugs
everything.
Bunny,
Billy West's everything.
everything, right? Yeah. So I wish that I had the ability to say, oh yeah, this guy over here, Ted. Me and Ted go way back. He's good looking. He's a
Right,
carpenter. He's an actor. He does yogurt commercial. I don't know. He's John Stamos, but he can also,
right, right.
he also is a
Asshole.
mechanic. Like, oh geez, man, you can't have that. Like that's
No,
too
you
many
can't.
skills.
It's too much stuff. It's not fair. Give one up. Pick one.
Yeah. Uh,
As far as like bigger named people that I am in constant admiration of, I really dig Man, I love Titus Welliver's career. I think he's had a great career, and I think he's an excellent actor. Um, I really like. God, I hated him for so long. I just
Yeah,
resented him for so long because I was like, you're good looking and you're actually good. And I don't want to admit that you're good, but God damn it, you're actually good is Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy, Peaky Blinders is one of the best shows that's ever been on television. Him as a producer on that show, his performance on that show, his dialect work is amazing. His dialect work in The Revenant was just incredible, like
right.
incredible. Um, Directors, that I like, it's hard to I just
No,
look up to so many people. I love Tom Hanks. I love the course of his career. I just watched Greyhound, which is a movie that he wrote
mhm.
about the naval battle. And if that movie doesn't win an Oscar for sound editing, there's something wrong because the dialogue is amazing. It's so technical and it's so fast. The camera never stops moving. It moves, all the way, all the time. It's following people around and stuff. Um, Roger Deakins, I love Haskell Wexler. Jack Cardiff is a hero of mine. I wanted to be a cinematographer for the longest time. Really, that was my first thing that I was drawn to, even though I had been acting since I was a kid. So I started when I was 7. I did my first play.
Oh wow.
Um, community theater, but still I was doing, I was there, I was at rehearsal and doing all that kind of, but I really wanted to be a DP. And my dad and I watched Black Narcissus. I don't know if you've ever seen Black Narcissus. It's a Powell and Pressburger film that Jack Cardiff shot. And Jack Cardiff was one of the first guy, I think was the first guy to use a Technicolor camera. And so he basically did his own like matte paintings and slides that would go in over the lens. Was just did the red shoes. Yeah, the red shoes. Just I think cinematographers are the most important things on the set. And I
100%.
and a smart director hires the right people. The Coen brothers I love the Coen brothers. They're always so smart with who they hire. Uh, Ridley Scott is always so smart with who he hires. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's good. That's great, man. To go back to like, I don't know. You were saying it's a shame that show didn't get picked up because your friend did such a good job on it and it was an amazing series. How do you stay like in a positive mind space? Because in this industry of entertainment, you get told no a lot. Like, how do you
yeah.
keep from I don't know.
It's an organic process that takes months to years to develop, which is mostly your job. An accountant goes to the office and he accounts for 8 hours and
Uh-huh.
then he comes home.
Right.
But he's always accounting and he's always getting paid for accounting. An actor, 95% of the time, gets told no. Your job, your 9 to 5, is pounding the pavement and going from audition to audition to audition. Or in this day and age, now you're submitting yourself, over camera, whatever. Um, where was I going with this?
How do you
Um,
stay positive? And
it's just a matter of getting rejected so many times that your skin just thickens up. Like it
sure.
just does it on its own. It's like getting a tan. The longer you spend in the sun, the darker you're going to get. It's the same. The longer you spend in this industry, the darker you're going to get. That's really what it is. It's stick to itiveness. And
Yeah.
you just have to believe that because this is the way the business has always worked. I've never seen it work any differently. You audition, 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 nobody calls. Then one day you get put on first refusal. And then you get put on first refusal for another job, which means if the guy gets the job who doesn't want the job or can't take it, has a conflict, then you get the job. It also could mean that you got the job and they're just looking for the dates to do it and all that kind of stuff. So you get put on first refusal for several times. And then one day, all of a sudden, you book a spot. And then from that point forward, you just start booking. And I only know a few people who worked intermediately. Everybody else I knew who was working like back in the good old days, but 5 jobs a day, 9 auditions. They'd hand you 11 scripts up at the office when you went up there to audition for stuff. Like, it was crazy. It was the golden age. I came in right on the edge of the golden age, right at the end of it. I felt like a Fitzgerald, except fatter, you know. And I probably smoked more weed than he did, but I think we and he drank more, so I think it evens out.
It's a tight race, yeah.
It's a tight race.
Oh, that's great. Outside of the studio, you sort of talked about like going into studio and auditioning. How do you decide on like pronunciation? Like, they want me to say pecan here or pecan, or is it better to say apricot or apricot?
I ask like what they want to do, or I'll just generally make the sort of editorial choice on my own to say I'm just going to give them 2 takes, and 1 take I'm going to say pecan, 1 take I'm going to say pecan, you know, that kind of thing, just to be on the safe side. If I'm working on a show or something like that, like a play. I did a play called Outside Mullingar. That's a John Patrick Shanley play that takes place in Ireland. So I worked with a dialect coach for that. I played Tolstoy, and I worked with a dialect coach for that. But then, quite honestly, I grew up watching Monty Python, so like that's how I learned all my British accents and stuff like that. And you know, of course, you do Southern accent, and everybody can, you know, see you do that. But then you also do this fucking thing, and then people know you're from this part of London, and don't mess with me, you cunt. You know, it's that kind of. So it's, you just pick it up as you go along, and you listen. I love to listen. I'm a barfly. So I like to sit at the end of the bar and just listen to I'll put my earbuds in, but I'll be listening to people, so they leave me alone. But I'm just listening to conversations, picking up weird, you know, there's like a South African dude who comes into the bar that I hang out at. There's a bunch of Brits that come in from different places. One of my best friends who comes in is Irish, like off the boat from Ireland Irish. So just hanging out, listening. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man.
Observation is the thing. The key is to watch and listen.
I was unbeknownst to me, I was doing it as a kid, like listening to cartoon characters and like, oh, that's you know, Popeye goes, whoa, you know, he's whoa, like this, and
Yeah,
he had this, like, he goes deep and then comes back up, and I was before this, I was a bartender, so
right.
I totally understand the like just listening to people and like
Just
picking up on
listening, and you gotta. And some of these guys, like my friend Dylan, I'm the only one who can understand him. Like the bartenders are starting to be able to finally understand him, but I always have to translate for him when he sits by me. He's like, Dylan, what do you want to drink? Oh, I want a tall vodka soda and this. They're like, what? And I'm like, he wants a tall vodka soda with a lime. And bring some hummus.
Yeah.
We're having snacks and drinks. I'll take care of this, Dylan. You just look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tell me what you want and I'll translate.
I'll do it for you.
That's great. That's so good. How do you stay mentally healthy? Like, I know you ended up in a room with padded walls either way, you know, as far as like the career I chose was I go into a room with padded walls and I stay there for hours on end. But is there some sort of exercise like yoga in the morning? Is it just going out and being social?
Shall I answer this honestly?
You don't have to, man. If you don't want to, we can move right along.
No, I don't mind. I mean, it is what it's my life. I can't. I'm 48. I'm not lying. I smoke a shit ton of weed. I smoke a lot of weed, and I drink, and that's what I do. And I hang out. I go my house, and I go to the bar that I go to that is right around the corner from my house, and I go see my mom. That's really it. I'm still wigged out about going to the grocery store. I don't even like doing that.
I feel you, man. It sounds like we have the same therapy. Like it sounds
Like
like we got.
I actually started carrying a knife when I went to the grocery store because people were like running around ripping masks off of people and spitting on them and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is madness. No, if you come at me to rip this mask off, you are coming to attack me and I'm going to stab you in the fucking neck. That is what is going to happen.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's it, buddy. That's what's going to happen. Or I'm going to use the glass breaker on the other end, the metal point. I'm just going to poke you in the cheek with it so that it just shatters your cheekbone. Then you're going to have to wear a mask. Or I could fish hook you. Then you're going to have to wear a mask. So I was in that kind of rage mood for a while. But the flip side of it is, I had massive surgery in April of 2019. And I basically I'm still not fully recovered from that. So I've been in quarantine basically since, a year and a half ago because I couldn't do anything. They took out 16 inches of my colon. Sorry, everybody. I know that's a lot of information. So, what do? You can't go swimming with a bag on your stomach. Nobody wants to see that. And now it's all done. I wish I could show you. It looks like I have 2 belly buttons. Like I look like I was made in a lab now. There's so many scars on here, my chest, between the heart surgery and then them doing the colostomy, whatever. This looks like an 1865 prospector's map. My chest does. It's like, here's the railroad tracks, here's where we found something, we struck something here, we had a little strike here, this vein's no good. Like it's ridiculous.
Where's the gold? Just get to the gold. Show us where the gold's at.
Like my friend Jason and his family just moved to Portland, Oregon the other day. And so I went over there on Saturday night to hang out and see the kids and all that kind of stuff, and say goodbye. And they were like looking at I was like, you want to see something cool? Hey man, you want to see something cool? And usually you get in a lot of trouble when you say that. Like, that's why I can't be within 1,500 feet of a parochial school because anyway, that's a whole other thing. And it's an ongoing case. So that's all I can say about it. But I lifted up the shirt and I was like, I got 2 belly buttons. And the youngest one just looked at it and went, that's so gross. I was like, it's yes, this is the human body, and that circles back to the melancholy Jacques saying, yes, I have gained my experience, meaning I have earned all the mistakes and consequences of my life.
Right.
It's tattoo worthy. It's going to be my next tat is just going to say, yes, I've gained my experience.
Yeah, I've gone as far as to remove tattoos. That's not a fun thing.
Were they swastikas? Please tell me they were swastikas.
Had to get them off, man. It's not cool anymore.
It's not cool. You're not in San Quentin anymore, buddy. It's time. You're back in a real world. You're bagging groceries now. You're doing good. You're clean.
It's bad enough I've got a bald head and like Doc Martens I usually wear. So it's, the swastikas didn't help. But yeah.
Just don't wear white laces.
Oh my God, this has been great. Jeremy, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about? So you're like, I hope we get into this territory. I just don't want to let you go too soon before we make.
I mean, I want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you got questions, or I have no manifesto, or and I'm so burned out on politics and all of that kind of stuff. I have no, you
I'm
know,
with you.
I got nothing to say about that except that orange bloviated sack of cow manure.
Preach, yeah. I know,
You know the
man.
best thing about, I'll say this, I'll get political once. That
Okay.
debate was crazy to watch. People say it was a disaster. I think it was exactly what the nation needed because it showed exactly who these two people really are.
Right.
And the best moment, well, there are two great moments I thought in the thing. The one was when Chris Wallace, right? That's who was the moderator, basically told Trump to shut up.
Yeah.
And then the best moment was when Joe Biden actually told Trump to shut up. That I thought was magic. Like that needs to happen. I'm surprised he didn't walk across the stage and just clock that motherfucker right in his fat face.
It might happen. Yeah.
He would go to prison and maybe be put to death. So there's that. But I thought he showed remarkable self-control in the face of this idiot. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that.
That's great.
Trump 2020. It can't get any worse. We're all dying anyway. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's not bring him into it. Okay.
I think he would have a lot of like, guys, this conversation is, I don't approve of this at all. I am very, very disappointed. But there's the whole grace thing, so don't do it again.
Can't be too smiteful.
Start over and don't do it again. Yeah.
So I can't make an amendment in the Bible. Jeez. Yeah.
They've been doing it for years.
Mormons did it. Yeah.
The Mormons did it. The Catholics did it. The Baptists did it. Everybody's doing it.
Oh, man.
And the one rule in the thing that they really stress, like, you'll die if you do this. Don't change a jot or a tittle in this book. Don't change a word of this book. Okay, here's 7 different versions of the Bible. Which one makes you feel the best? It's like being a Reformed Jew. It's like, we'll just do the high holidays.
Yeah.
I might fast, but I have low blood sugar, so I'll probably have an avocado or a banana at some point.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not going to call my neighbor to turn the air conditioning on.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. No black cats walking around the neighborhood or anything like that. Yeah, totally. No, man, this has been great fun. I'm so happy you asked me to be on. It's I watched not entire episodes, but I kind of flew through it as I was trying to get an idea of like, what am I getting myself into?
Oh, Jesus.
Are they gonna ask me about my record or how far back are we going here? Like knowing, yeah. So, but what a joy, what a pleasure. You're a delight, and this was a lot of fun. And I hope we keep in touch and kind of be buddies and stuff like that.
Yeah, stick around afterwards. I've got a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you that I don't think is probably radio worthy.
I'm not going to sleep with you.
Please, God, wait. How did you know?
I can tell you right because I can see it in your eyes. Even over the interweb, I can see it in your eyes. I know that look. I know that look.
Bedroom eyes.
You have very kissable lips, but I know that look and nice teeth.
Oh my God. Jeremy, in light of the podcast and tradition of the podcast, we always end with a poop story. It sounds like you might have a poop story.
In fact, I do. So I sent him. So I'm getting ready to do this thing. I'm getting my whole thing set up, and I haven't had my morning drop. They haven't fallen yet. And I was getting everything together. And the time was getting close, and all of a sudden I felt the drop. So I texted, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, listen. I feel like we know each other well enough at this point, and I mean, we've texted like 5 times.
Yeah,
I feel like we're close enough at this point that I can tell you that I have a otherworldly bowel movement about to happen, and I may or may not be 5 minutes late."
I know. I was like, I don't think you know this, but this is great for the show. Like, I'm
Yeah,
really happy.
he was like, take your time. And I'm like, I don't know that I have a say in the matter. I don't think it's up to me. I really don't. This thing does what it's going to do, regardless of what I have to say. And it beats me. Oh, it beats me when no one's around. Makes me give it all my money. It beats me.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
I'm not working for you anymore, Colin.
Oh God, that was wonderful.
Well,
That's it.
thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And I'll tell you this, the poop was great as well, I got to say. Nice, S-shaped, tapered, just the way it should be.
I hope this day doesn't plateau. Like it's either going to continuously get better and better, or this is it. Just go
Oh
back.
yeah, if at 2 o'clock, if the highlight of my day was having a great, actually, to be quite honest, if at 2 o'clock the highlight of my day was having a great bowel movement, that's still a pretty good day. I mean, you got to be honest, that's still a pretty good day.
That's right. That's right. I like where the bar's set there.
Right.
That's it for us. Play us out, Shitty Ukulele.
Yeah.
Right.
God, that's just shitty.
It's so bad.
I'm kidding. I'm just playing the joke.
Oh, it never ends. Okay.